Hey guys, welcome to No Code Engineer. In this lesson, we'll see how to use the privacy settings in the Bubble database. Let's go to the Bubble database first. In here, you can see three tabs, one for the data type, one for app data, and one for privacy. Well, the privacy settings for your app really depend on what kind of app you're making. For example, if you're making an app like Airbnb in which all your properties are visible to almost everybody on the website, then having a privacy setting for a property doesn't make a lot of sense because most of your property data is public. But if you're making an app like Facebook in which you have some privacy settings for the users, because not all of the information of the users is public, because some of the data for the users can only be visible to the users' friends or the people to whom the users allow access to. So those kind of privacy settings will be fine if you are making an app like Airbnb. But messages and conversations are the kind of data types that must have privacy settings in every kind of app, because these are the data types that should only be visible or should be accessible to the people who are involved in that conversation. And that's why we'll go ahead and define a new privacy setting for these two data types. But before we do that, we have to see how these two data types are constructed in our app. So for that, let's go to the data type tab here and look at our data type message and conversation. For example, when we go to conversation, we can see that conversation data type is made with a list of messages, recipient, creator, modified date, and created date. These are the 5 fields inside the conversation data type. And for the messages, we have a conversation. So message is linked to conversation here, and then it has a text and then creator, modified date, and created date. You can notice that in conversation also the messages are connected to conversation by a list. There is a list of messages and they come from here, this data type. So these two data types are connected to make a message system for our app. Now let's go to the privacy settings and define a privacy role for the message and conversation. Let's start with conversations first. In here, we'll define a new role. We can name it conversation privacy. Here you can see two tabs, one for having a custom definition of access, where we define what kind of users should have access to this conversation. And here we have the access rights for everyone else. So first, let's go ahead and define a custom access. I'm gonna say when this conversation's creator is current user, or this conversation's recipient is current user. Users who match this rule can view all fields, find this in searches, view attached files. I'm gonna check all of them because the users who are involved in this conversation, the creator and the recipient, they should have access to all the fields in the conversation data type. And for everyone else, I'm gonna make it not visible. View all fields, uncheck. Find this in searches, uncheck. View attached files, uncheck. So this thing is gonna make my conversation data type more secure, because now I'm gonna make it accessible only to the two people who are involved in this conversation. Now let's go to the messages, and here let's define a new role for the messages. I'm gonna name it message privacy. Create. I'm gonna give a custom access to the message data type. I'm gonna say when current user is this messages conversations creator, or current user is this messages conversations recipient. Only then you can view all fields, find this in searches, and view attached files. For everyone else, I'm going to uncheck the view all fields and find this in search field and view attached file fields, because this message should only be visible to the creator of the conversation and the recipient of the conversation. And that's it. That's how you define the privacy settings for your data types in Bubble. Thank you so much guys for watching. I'll come back with more videos. Stay tuned. Bye bye. See you soon.